So I want to do my research paper over religion. I identify as a Christian, not super strict about it, or not a super strict Christian, but I do identify as a Christian more than any other religion. And with that in mind, I have the standpoint that Christianity is very privileged. I think, one of the reasons that it is privileged, could be that it's, over 75% of the United States identifies as Christian. And so because of that, it is very catered to. How many, just think about how many churches or Christian churches you saw driving to work or home or wherever. And it's a lot, and compare that to the number of Jewish or Muslim or, any other non-Christian religious centers. And the difference in numbers is staggering. And I think, having not just one church, but having the option to go to multiple churches really points out privilege. And even in big cities, you may only have one or two, Jewish religious centers. And I think that, just points to Christianity being privileged. Another thing that I think leads to the fact that Christianity is very privileged is the U.S., does observe a lot of Christian holidays. Christmas and Easter are both, religious-based holidays, and they are observed so widely in the United States that, the post office, the bank, the schools, things that are government organizations start shutting down to observe these holidays. And no other religion gets that luxury. And I think the most basic definition of being privileged is having a special rights, advantages, or immunities. And I think that applies to Christians on all levels. We have advantage of not having to worry about our religion. We don't have to worry about, is our religion going to be, threatened? Is our religious freedom going to be threatened? A fact that I looked up was over 43 states have made legislative efforts to ban Islamic religious things. Like, they've made legislative efforts to ban Islamic religion in some way. 213 bills have been made to try and act against Muslim religion in some way, and 20 of those bills were passed. You don't see that happening to Christians. Christians don't have to worry about that. Not having to worry about that is like a glowing red sign of privilege. And of course, being a Christian isn't all bad. I mean, there are a lot of good things that the church does. The church, brings people together. It gives people a place to go. And it supports people. It supports charity, and it advocates, for, peace and loving your neighbor and, and all of that. But I think the problem really comes from, when you start having the stereotypical, Christians that you meet, the ones that are judgy and rude and harsh, and beyond anything, they're really just, shove their religion down your throat. And I think the really true problem starts coming from when those stereotypical Christians, are harsh or, violent towards anyone that doesn't uphold their religious morals. And I think that's where you get a lot of people having a negative taste in their mouth about Christianity. And, some of those things, include violent acts against abortion clinics. There's between 1978 and 1993, there were over 800 violent acts committed at abortion clinics around the United States, including bombings, gun violence, and arson. All of those 800 specifically were committed by a Christian that was claiming, oh, I did this for the Christian faith because abortion is wrong. And so, you know, and then you also have people like the Westboro Baptist people that, you know, yell and scream and, you know, protest and denounce the gays in every which way and not. And it's kind of those things that really leave a negative taste in people's mouth, and really, you know, even for me, makes me kind of question, you know, oh whoa, like is this really what I want to be a part of? And I think a lot of people go through that with those particular issues. And again, I mean, Christianity isn't all bad. It isn't horrible. There are just a few things that sometimes make me not so sure about, you know, being so close to Christianity and everything. And those are things that have happened on the national level. Those aren't even things that, you know, apply to me. You know, because one of the questions on the handout was, you know, how does Christianity, like, how has it, you know, affected other identities that you have? And immediately I thought of one right off the top of my head, was me being a woman, and how that interacts with, you know, my Christian faith. And I feel like as a woman in the Christian faith, you know, you're kind of expected to be this very proper, this very conservative, this very, you know, underspoken person, that a lot of women aren't today. You know, I've like experienced this in my life. I'm dating a guy, and we've been dating for over, you know, a year and a half now. And his family is the stereotypical Christian. They are very harsh, they are very loud about it, and they do not like anyone that does not conform to what they believe. And, you know, when I go over there, I wear modest clothes. I sit up a little straighter. I talk a little less, you know, because I know that's the good Christian woman that they want. And so I think that, you know, just kind of answers the question of how does it, you know, mess with another identity. But in the end, again, I think, you know, Christianity, while it's very giving and very charitable, it is also very harsh, and it is privileged in so many ways. But it's just my opinion. So, thank you.